All right, welcome everybody. We'll call to order the Grand Forks City Council meeting for Monday, October 21st, 2024. Roll call, please, Maureen.
Weigel. Osowski.
Here.
Berg.
Here.
Lenski.
Here.
Friedels.
Here.
Sandy.
Here.
And Veen. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Item 1.2, Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, item 1.3, Mayor's announcements, just a few announcements. Pretty busy couple weeks. The UAS Summit over at the Alaris Center, record attendance, record vendors, just a great event. Palmer Luckey was quite the speaker, wearing his Hawaiian shirts and flip-flops, and running a major national defense company. So that was quite interesting, along with a lot of other vendors there. I did want to highlight too, we had a dedication over at the Veterans Memorial Park it was a B-52 dedication, but it was honoring 4 airmen that had passed away in the 80s there in a fire. So it was a great honor to them. I was happy to be out there for that. We did host once again, 2 years in a row now, the North Dakota, I got to say this, it's the NDWPCC, the North Dakota Water Pollution Control Conference. Another good showing. People always enjoy coming to the beautiful Alaris Center for conferences. And then we had a good showing as well. We had the water treatment plant redevelopment open house over at the Hive, giving people a chance to look at some of the early concepts of that. And then finally last week, the Grand Forks Airport had a ribbon cutting for their Crosswinds runway, which just was completed. So that'll go into use here in the near future on a windy day. So that's all I got for Mayor's announcements. So we'll move forward here to item number 2, awards, presentations, appointments, and proclamations.
2.1 is the commercial air service expansion update.
Mayor Buczynski, we have the Meehan Aviation Group is here. There's a task force meeting tomorrow morning, and they're going to give you folks a quick update on several things. More in-depth briefing tomorrow on all the work they've been doing, but generally they're going to update you on that small service air grant, give you an update on that. Talk about Delta and that 4th flight, Allegiant. That they've been working on. So lots of things have been happening, and ultimately trying to raise our ridership numbers here in Grand Forks and start moving forward. So I think lots of positives going on. I'm going to ask, I think Sonia's going to give the briefing, and Zoe's the backup to Sonia as needed. So with that, Sonia.
Okay, is this on? Okay. This is Sonia, this is Zoe. It's a little strange to not have slides as a consultant, so you'll have to bear with me a little bit. So we've been, again, our theme since we started in mid-April is just on the ground, fast and furious, but the last time we were here in July, we were submitting a small community air service development grant. This is a DOT federal grant that comes around every year, and it's only for small airport communities for air service development funds. We did a really good job, this community did a really good job of getting pledges, and that totaled about $500,000 in local contribution. We asked for $1 million from the DOT, and we're waiting to hear on that. We submitted by the deadline, July 25th. What we're hearing right now is mid-November. That could change. It could go back, it could go forward. It's tough with the federal agencies, but that's what we're hearing right now. In addition, we went to the Allegiant Airport Conference. This is a conference that Allegiant has every year for its airports that it serves, as well as prospective airports that it wants to serve. And they basically go through about a half a day on a briefing about how the airline is doing. What new strategies they have employed. They have a new CEO. And then you spend 20, 40 minutes with Allegiant to talk about 2 aspects: your airport, the costs at your airport, how the market is doing, and then also airport marketing. And so Zoe's going to talk a little bit about that because she went to those meetings.
Okay, thank you. Yes, so we went to Allegiant at the beginning of October, and we met with their network planning department, and they had very good things to say about Grand Forks, which is always like a nice to hear because they're an important leisure carrier, and they're demonstrating how good they feel about Grand Forks for the Phoenix. They run 3 routes from Grand Forks: Las Vegas, Phoenix Mesa, and then Orlando Sanford. And Phoenix Mesa's and Orlando Sanford, they run during kind of like their winter season, and it's flip-flopped between 2 to 3 weekly departures. Okay, well, for Phoenix Mesa, they're running 3 weekly departures throughout the season to show that they believe in the market and that it's doing really well. And then for Sanford, they're going from 1 weekly departure to 2 weekly departures. So that's all really good news for Grand Forks. And
Especially because they fly larger aircraft.
yes. Yeah, they fly larger aircraft. And we're going to meet. So then the next thing is in 2 days, we're going to an air service conference called Roots Takeoff North America in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And we will be meeting with 5 airlines there. Allegiant, again, where we'll get, more of an update, and we'll talk to them about future opportunities at Grand Forks. We'll be meeting with Delta to talk about hopefully reinstating the 4th daily flight. We have heard from them that it's likely coming back mid-2025, which is awesome because we need that 4th daily flight. But as consultants, we're always hoping to speed that up. So we're going to talk about any potential that it could come in sooner. And then we'll also be talking to SkyWest and United about the grant was one of the focuses of the Small Community Air Service Development Grant that we submitted, was potentially helping with the United to Denver route. And so we're just going to continue discussions about that. And I think that was everything.
Yeah, so it'll give us another touch point. We haven't talked to these carriers really since May, when we went to the only other air service conference that's out there in the industry. And so we're staying in front of them because half of this is having a market where we can demonstrate that we can support these flights. And then the other half is to just stay persistent. And with that, I think we've given our update, but we'll take any questions that you have.
Sounds good. I'll just make a couple of comments. I think, as we're seeing the numbers come in from the North Dakota Aeronautics Commission, and we're seeing Grand Forks, it's clear that this effort is needed, and we've got to continue to work at it. I think options and price is the 2 issues, and until we have more options, I don't think the price is going to go down. So it's great to hear there's a 4th flight coming, additional from Allegiant. Then we get some more competition from United. Hopefully we can be more competitive on price and then change some habits. So.
Yeah, and I think if I can add the comment that tomorrow, the first task force meeting for air service development with the business community, they're going to be hearing all of this for the first time. There's a few companies that we've been working with since we got here in April that know some of our efforts, but the majority of this audience are really going to hear this for the first time. And what I'm hoping, and I think will happen, is that they're going to understand the gigantic effort that this city is putting forward on this and sort of their role in it. And we're hoping that they're going to step up even more, and we think that'll happen.
Great. Well, thank you again and your team. Any questions or comments from council? All right, we'll see you at 7:30 tomorrow morning. Thank you.
In 2.2, we have 2 proclamations. First one, Space Week, October 21st through 25th, and Extra Mile Day, November 1st.
All right, thank you. Proclamation Space Week. Whereas North Dakota's long been a leader in innovation with a rich tradition of pioneering advancements in aerospace technology and agriculture, and whereas the University of North Dakota is globally recognized for its leadership in space studies, making significant contributions to the exploration and understanding of our universe through innovative research and educational opportunities. And the rest of the proclamation will be posted online, but therefore I, Brandon Boczynski, Mayor of Grand Forks, do hereby proclaim the week of October 21st, 2024 as Space Week throughout the city, and I urge all the residents of Grand Forks to look to the stars and imagine the possibilities that lie ahead in the realms of space and agriculture. And then Extra Mile Day, November 1st, 2024. Whereas Grand Forks, North Dakota is a community that acknowledges that a special vibrancy exists within the entire community when its individual citizens collectively go the extra mile in personal effort, volunteerism, and service. And whereas Grand Forks, North Dakota is a community that encourages its citizens to maximize their personal contribution to the community by giving of themselves wholeheartedly and with total effort, commitment, and conviction to their individual ambitions, family, friends, and community. And whereas Grand Forks, North Dakota is a community that chooses to shine a light on and celebrate individuals and organizations within its community who go the extra mile in order to make a difference and lift up fellow members of the community. And whereas Grand Forks, North Dakota acknowledges the mission of the Extra Mile America initiative to create 550 extra mile cities and states in America and is proud to support Extra Mile Day on November 1st, 2024. Now, therefore, I, Brandon Boczynski, Mayor of Grand Forks, North Dakota, do hereby proclaim November 1st to be Extra Mile Day. I urge each individual in our community to take the time on this day to not only go the extra mile in his or her own life, but to also acknowledge all those around who are inspirational in their efforts and commitment to make their organizations, families, communities, and country and world a better place. All right, that's it for item 2, so we'll move on to item 3, public hearings and second reading of ordinances.
3.1, public hearing on appeals, certification of special assessments, and approve the findings on the projects that are listed on your agenda.
All right, thank you. So I'm going to quickly open the public hearing, and then I know Mr. Gossett, you wanted to add some context. Why don't we hear the public hearing on item 3.1 first? So if there's anybody out there that wants to speak on item 3.1 as it relates to the special assessments, please step forward to the microphone now. Yep. Actually, you're going to just go to that side right there, sir.
Okay, I've never been to one of these. I've got an assessment. I had a sidewalk repaired at my house. The sidewalk needed to be repaired because of the tree in the berm had caused it to heave a lot. It's visible from Google Earth. It was really bad, huge tripping hazard. I went to the city, would have been like February, March of 2023. You know, it was a carryover project. I understand how that works. I asked them what I could do to get it done. The engineering department told me, well, you got to have the sidewalk. You can remove the sidewalk if you want. You're responsible for it. I'm like, well, nothing on my property damaged it. How do I get the tree removed? Because that's what's causing the damage. Well, you got to go to the Parks Department. So I go to the Parks Department. I ask them if they can remove the tree. I get told we can't remove the tree until you remove the sidewalk. I'm like, okay. Come back to the city. How do I get you guys to remove the sidewalk? Well, you sign this paper agreeing to pay for it. And to me, I don't understand why. You know, it's not really a huge amount, but I'm looking for better clarification as to how a tree that I couldn't remove had I been there when it started to upheave it is I'm responsible for replacing the sidewalk that damaged.
Just looking for some clarification on that. Do we have anyone from
more or less
engineering that could give us some insight on that or follow up with? And sorry, what was your name and your address? So then we can get
Tim
back to you?
Gaffney.
Tim Gaffney.
I live at 1724 First Avenue North.
Good evening, Mayor. We'd have to look at the exact property. I apologize if there's any kind of confusions on that, but sidewalks are sometimes impacted by trees. Sometimes the tree needs to be removed. Sometimes the roots can be trimmed. Kind of depends on the extent of the damage and things like that. To my knowledge, the Park District won't necessarily remove a tree if it's not diseased or, in imminent other health problems of the tree itself. So I think we just have to look at it. We can work with you
Okay.
on that.
Yeah, I mean, as of now, the sidewalk's repaired, the tree has been removed. You know, once they pulled the sidewalk, they saw
That
the
has all
roots.
happened already.
Yes.
Okay.
So like this is the hearing on like my bill, right? Like I got the bill in the mail for the sidewalk and it said I can come talk at this meeting about it. So just curious.
I guess I can't speak to any more specifics
Yeah.
than that, other than, if that work has been done. Did you chose to have it special assessed on the selection form?
Yeah, because I mean, nothing was going to happen if I didn't
Right.
agree to pay for this. And it's like, well, I've slipped on it trying to shovel it, and we got kids in the neighborhood, so I wanted it fixed and repaired. but I couldn't find, I mean, I had to agree to pay for it before anything would happen.
I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news. As a matter of city ordinance, you're responsible for the sidewalk. And even though the tree is on your berm, you're responsible for the tree as well. And it's unfortunate that had you, I don't know how long you've lived at your home, but once that started, at that point, perhaps the park district or someone could have gone in and cut the roots or tried to do some mitigation. But unfortunately, it obviously had gone on too long.
Yeah.
And so
Long before
I-
it was my place.
I
so.
agree, and I'm sorry about that, but it's unfortunate, but that's, our city ordinance says very specifically that you're responsible for the sidewalks. And I think if you look at some of the older neighborhoods across our community, I can tell you, I grew up on Belmont Road, 1300 block. My first house I owned was 900 block here in town. And the big elm trees reap havoc on the sidewalks. They do. If you go, I haven't owned that home for 20 years, and 20 years ago, the sidewalks needed to be replaced, and they still haven't been replaced. And so it's unfortunate that, the people, some people are willing to put up with it and live with it and work with the cracked sidewalks, and some people, it's gotten too bad. So I appreciate that you got your sidewalk repaired. I wish all the people in our neighborhoods would take the same approach that you did.
Okay. I mean, it basically answers my question, so.
Thanks for coming and.
Yeah, Mr. Gaston, thank you for your time, and
You bet.
I
Yeah,
appreciate
having
you
your
being
voice
here.
heard.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, was there anybody here to speak on item 3.1? All right, seeing none, we'll close the public hearing portion, and then, Mr. Gosta, I know you had some comments, so please.
Yeah, you'll notice this year it's a little different. There's a recommendation to monetize the benefits from the particular special assessment projects. That was a result of a recent North Dakota Supreme Court decision that required under the statutes with respect to special assessments. The statutes provide that the special assessments that is being imposed cannot exceed the benefits. And the North Dakota Supreme Court concluded that, well, if you've got special assessments that are monetized, in order to compare it, you also have to have the benefits monetized. And so through tremendous effort from public health to engineering to finance, and the city assessor's office, they put together information as to the protective measures that exist from these special assessment projects. Because of emergency personnel being able to get there in a timely fashion, the protective measures that exist for existing structures, as well as the cost savings from being part of a city municipal system versus your own septic system, as well as the development value as a result of a special assessment having roads, infrastructure that serves those developments. As a result, they've monetized the value, and so part of tonight would be not only to approve the special assessments, but also to approve the benefits and the amount of the methodology for the benefit determination at this point. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gosted. Guess we'll open up to council for action or comment, or any questions they had related to that. All right, anyone want a motion to approve? Oh, got a lot of them. We got a motion. Motion from Ms. Osowski, second from, we'll give Ms. Berg the second. You were too late, Mr. Sandy. Any further comment? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. All right, we'll move on to item 4, citizen comments as they relate to action items. Any comments this evening, Ms. Lundmark? No? All right, so let's move along. We've got action items. There's no items that administration was going to pull, so any that council wishes pulled for further discussion tonight, please let me know. All right, well, And we'll be looking then for a motion to approve. I think this is the first time this has happened. Items 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, 5.4, 5.5, 5.6, 5.7, 5.8, 5.9, 5.10, 5.11, 5.12, 5.13, and 5.14.
I move approval.
Got a motion, actually, this time, it was, you were too slow, Ms. Osowski, so Ms. Berg got the motion, and Mr. President Sandy got the
I
second.
was on the mic because I'm quicker, so.
Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. All right, that moves us on to information items. Item 6.
6.1, investment portfolio management summary as of September 30th.
All right, thank you, received. And item 7, approval of minutes and bills.
7.1 is your vendors list and engineers estimates as attached.
All right, do
I
we have
move
a,
approval.
got a motion to approve from Ms. Osowski, second from Ms. Lunsky. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously.
And 7.2, minutes from October 7th.
I move approval.
All right, we got a motion to approve as is from Ms. Osowski and a second from Ms. Lunsky. Any further comment on the minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. All right, then move us to item 8, citizen comments of general in nature. Any comments this evening?
I have one. Jay Clavin?
Mr. Clevin, you just made it in time.
Yeah, did you see me hustle there?
Yep. All right.
So, Mr. Mayor, point of order, though. Did we change our rules? I thought you actually had to have your request card in prior to the start of the meeting.
Just before the citizen comment starts.
Oh, okay.
In general, so
Sounds good.
he just
All right.
made it, I know. As much as you'd like to shut him down, I'm sure. I will have to put you on the countdown, though, Mr.
5
Clevin.
minutes.
So there you
And I
go.
actually checked that rule when I was walking in and I read it. It just had to be before the agenda item.
Yeah.
I actually want to close with positive news. A2S and myself, we had the great fortune of working with Spectre Health on their parking lot redevelopment down there. Wonderful project, checked off several first in city sort of project requirements, fulfilled the downtown development design guide, some beautification grants that were very appropriate for the project. But the value of the project isn't what we see. It's the clients they serve. And I was talking with them as we're lining up the project, and I learned that they did not have an ADA accessible entry point to their building, which is the fundamental reason the project existed. So off we go do all the, the fun engineering things, and there are some pretty neat engineering things in here. But here's the thank you that on behalf of the client, they don't know I'm here, but we've talked about it, more so on behalf of the people who don't always get a voice. Your efforts with city engineering and surely the support of the elected officials and staff to fix 4th Street right in front of their building, because they would have this really great, nice looking sidewalk with all their ADA compliance checkbox marked, and their parking area would have been kind of substandard if we want to even be polite about it. But they appreciate how much the city worked with them to get to yes, to make the improvements in the street, which made a very good project become even better. So on behalf of everybody being served by that project, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Clevin. You were going to shut him off. You weren't going to let him talk, President Sandy. All right, with that, we'll move on. That's all for citizen comments in general nature? Yep. All right, we'll move on to 9, city administrator comments. Mr. Phelan.
Thank you, Mayor Buchansky, members of City Council. I sent out an email today that we're moving forward with design development and construction development, thankfully. And so we're looking at, now it's going to get more real, because we're going to have to really move forward with guaranteed maximum prices and bids and all that kind of stuff. So we really want to engage you as City Council more and more. We are planning a November 1 tour, which should be on Friday, and as I stated in my email, and if we need to notice the meeting, we'll do that. But we're going to visit 2 NDSU facilities, both their turf and their track. Their new indoor turf is new, so we're going to see 2 different steel structures that I think are going to be informative. We're going to go to the West Fargo Schools Aquatic Complex, and that's really an aquatic complex that we're trying to emulate with our facility, so we'll be able to see that, which is probably, from my understanding, is the preeminent facility here in North Dakota. And then we're going to go to the Fargo Park District Sports Center. And their sports center generally is turf, it's ice, it's pickleball, and then it has wood courts for basketball and volleyball. So we're going to go there. And then finally, we're going to wrap up. And though I think most of us have been at the Pollard Athletic Center, we're going to go visit that just so that we can see not only, sometimes when you're there as a spectator, you don't really look at the particulars. And then we're also going to take a tour of, they're adding on a $20 million, a steel part of the building for athletic locker rooms and weight rooms and all that kind of stuff. So that's our tour on November 1. We are going to plan 2 updates on November 4th and 18th at City Council, and those will be really setting the timeline moving forward. So there'll be decisions that will have to start to be made after the new year. And a lot of those will be planning and zoning type decisions that I think we'll be able to work through. We are working with the Children's Museum that'll play into the planning and zoning and some of the offsite infrastructure that we've been working with them, and those are going positive and constructively. The other thing we're contemplating right now is 2 bid packages. We'd have an early out bid package on the site work, the infrastructure, the outside structure of the buildings, and then we'd have a second later bid package that later this summer that would be all the inside stuff for the facility. We asked our construction manager at risk today, McGough, and he figured about maybe 30 to 40% would be in that first GMP. We'd be well along on the design development by the time we bid the first phase, probably at 90%. So we'd have a much better idea about what that remaining 60% looks like, because we want to have some security that we're going to be able to move forward with that second phase, because and so we're looking at different ways that we can improve these 2 GMPs, or guaranteed maximum prices, and maybe there's a way that we can combine them as we move forward. So those are the things that we're doing. But I think when we go on these site tours, you're going to see we're all going, and some of us have been to those facilities and have gone on tours, but I think now that we're looking at something specific for the city of Grand Forks, it'll be more meaningful as to look at what those facilities are. And so when we get up here and say pre-engineered steel buildings, we'll know that there's probably 3 different types, and we'll be able to see on this tour what those 3 types are in these facilities. We did hear, and after our meeting, the mayor and I heard from McGough, is that there have been some competitive bids recently, and we hope, knock on wood, this continues down at NDSU with some projects that have come in really competitively. So we think the time is right to bid this project and look at maybe some early out issues. So we'll be here if you're available on November 1st. We'll meet up down at those various facilities and get a good site, and then on November 4th and 18th, and then probably thereafter, Mayor and City Council, we'll plan to give updates throughout the balance of the year at City Council, and then you'll see actions that we're actually going to start asking for after the new year as we move forward with this particular facility. So with that, Mayor, I'd stand for any questions, but those that we're going to spend a lot of time and effort, and we will soon be getting to action, and certainly we need you guys to approve those actions.
Thank you, Mr. Phelan. And I think, just getting some feedback too, if people are going to be able to go down there, and make sure you kind of let the team know so they know how big of a group it's going to be going through those. Ms. Lunsky, do you have a question?
You mentioned $20 million for locker rooms. Was that at the Pollard Center or the new turf facility?
That's at the new Pollard Center. So the structure, the reason I asked is McGough is the construction manager on that particular project. So if you want to know what $20 million gets you, look at the Pollard and then look at that steel structure, which contains their locker rooms, their weight rooms, and all those. That's a $20 million investment that's being attached to that. So we've had a lot of discussions about, steel buildings and, that possibly can't cost that much. So when you drive by there and just get a visual, that's a $20 million investment onto that Pollard Center. People say, I think last I remember, 10 years ago, the whole Pollard, the original was about $20 million, but then they've added, various amenities from spectator seating to various other things into that facility. But it just tells you things cost a lot more. And even when we look back to the water treatment plant that we finished in 2020, that was about a $150 million investment. And we did cost escalate. What would that cost if we were to move forward today over a 4-year build? It would likely be about a $225 million investment. So, things have gone up significantly. And so some of our investments that Council President, as you know, when you think about when we move forward with the water treatment plant, is that really that's a terrific investment for what we had to get, even with including a state half cost share. I think the other thing is that we've gone on about this, Mayor Wojciechowski, is that all the facilities we're going to go see are either, the two are going to be NDSU, one's going to be West Fargo Public Schools with the swimming pool, and the other one's going to the Fargo Park District. Again, the city is trying to probably take all four of those projects, and we're leading that ourselves. And so I know it's above and beyond what cities normally do, but I think to get the project across the finish line, we were the only entity that was going to be able to move that project forward. So I think we should be proud that we're moving forward with community projects because we're the only ones that are able to do that.
All right, thank you, Mr. Phelan. All right, we'll move on to item 10, mayor and council member comments. Ms. Osowski, any comments this evening?
Yeah, I do have one comment. And first off, I'd like to thank Mr. Phelan for the email today about the site visits. I think that that's great. But, it really had me thinking, especially today when you brought up the Veterans Park. I don't feel that us as a council are being that well communicated to by the administration. Besides today, the last email that I received from Todd Phelan was over a month ago. I have not received an email from the mayor since September 15th. Some of these issues that I feel we haven't been spoken to about, then we're reading about them in the Herald. Like, for instance, I didn't know about the memorial for the Veterans Park at all. I feel like we're not really being notified about some of these events. And then a big thing was that I did read in the paper, and this was a while ago, but I thought it was a big concern, was even the lawsuit with the water situation. I feel that us as a committee should be well communicated to by the current administration, and I don't feel that that's been happening. Also, I'm not even receiving any emails about, how some of these meetings are going with like JLG or even what's even being discussed. We are not receiving anything. And so I would like to see the communication from the administration be a little bit better. I think that I should be receiving more than one email a month from Todd Phelan. And I would just like to see us be communicated to a little bit better about different things like at the Veterans Park or about lawsuits. So thank you.
Thank you. I think that's part of the, some of the meetings coming up, but I also don't think it's administration's job to inform you of community events that are happening. Quite frankly, that's not going to happen. But you had something, Mr. Phelan?
I would, yeah, and I certainly can over-communicate too. So generally when we try to get a lot of things on COW and council, and the concern I would have if I inform or the whole council is it in an open meeting. And so generally if we have broad communications with you, it generally happens at a city council meeting, other than, that's why I'm announcing what I just sent you, so that no one would ever question that, I have notified you that there are going to be tours, there's going to be meetings. And generally, the mayor, on behalf of the city of Grand Forks, is asked to attend events for ribbon cuttings or for special occasions, and I can be better at inviting all of you, but generally, when organizations ask, they ask for the mayor to attend those events, but I'll certainly invite all you too on behalf of the city of Grand Forks.
Thank you, Mr. Phelan. Ms. Berg?
No, thank you.
All right. Ms. Lunsky, any comments this evening? Mr. Friedhoff, any comments? All right, I don't believe, is Mr. Weigel still on? Vice President Weigel? Okay, well, Orvine, so President Sandy,
Thank you,
please.
Mr. Mayor. I think everyone should join me. We could do a parade of cars to Spectre Health to check out the parking lot tonight. I hear it's quite nice, so we should take that in. Mr. Phelan, have you scheduled those tours yet?
They are on tentatively, yes, those times, yep.
I'm sorry, I haven't had a chance to see your
Yep.
email. So are we doing the Grand Forks visits first and then Fargo second?
Right now, it's planned for Fargo in the morning and then the Pollard in the afternoon.
Got it, okay.
Yeah, and I'll add, I'll just have you all added on those meeting invites. I sent out and I'm going to notice everything on those
Yeah.
times,
All
just
right.
in case.
Thanks, appreciate that. Thank you, Mayor. Everybody have a great week.
Sounds good. All right. Lastly, I suppose it's my comments. Nothing tonight. Just want to thank Mr. Clevenin and giving us some positive words. It's always nice to have that. Might have to return the favor at the school district one of these days, so appreciate that. Thank you, everyone, for being here. And with that, we look for a motion to adjourn.
I move adjournment.
Got a motion from Ms. Osowski, second from Mr. Friedolfs. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. We are adjourned.